And I will be now answering the last question. Looking back at your preliminary task, what do you feel you have learnt in the progression from it to the full products? Wow, this is quite an interesting question, because I remember when I took this picture in the corridor, I thought it was just a picture, took the picture, colored up the background, just added text, and then that was basically it. But then, since I have done the raw magazine, I've taken it more seriously. I have taken more effective pictures like this one, flipped it around, rainbow effects, all these pictures, taking them more seriously, adding them into the magazine cover, and deciding the mise-en-scene, judging on all the other magazines that I've seen, for instance, judging them on this magazine, applying it to these ones, Vibe magazine, how to refine and improve it. Well, compared to this to this one, I can see there's a huge transformation. 1, I use a full page picture. 2, I use a background. 3, I include less headlines, as the feedback from this one was I had too many headlines, had way too many headlines, and this one was a bit cheesy. This headline right here, exclusive, 3 top tips to achieve A-star attention from external moderator, said it was a bit too cheesy. I've also learned that it's not even about looking amazing or adding the best effects or putting an amazing background, or it's about targeting the audience. So instead of just creating a picture of a hat smiling, half picture cropped off, like there's only half the picture here, as you can see, I've learned that, for instance, this magazine here, this magazine, and this magazine, the head is not cut off halfway. And they use a full face picture comparing to the preliminary task that I've done. There is a huge difference. And also in the marketplace, it's not about how much words you put on the page, it's about how you lay it out, how does it present, what is the representations, what is the stereotypes. So for the magazine that I did across the UK, representation methods is that I used the actor sitting down in the chair. The mise-en-scene is beads in the background with a gradient on top of the picture, which I have done on Photoshop. Also, I have added small headlines to make the target audience have the greed and the necessity of opening the product and opening the magazine cover. There's sometimes that lighthead is how, for instance, a magazine cover like Vibe, they use celebrities, for instance, Janelle Monáe, Drake. They use Lil Wayne, Kobe Bryant, Tracy Morgan, 50 Cent, the new Gabby, Khalees, Hugh Brothers, Chris Brown, Amber Rose. They use all these negative, and comparing it to like things like this, all negative, comparing it with the magazine that I've been doing, there is a lot of differences and similarities. From the usage of using Photoshop has allowed me to explore more of my talents, because I never thought that I would make a magazine cover this okay. I have learned that from the feedback. I've also learned that I used some very cheesy quotes. For instance, you can have fun and work all at the same time, just make sure you're organized. Some of my friends, they thought of it as a, how can I say, like an advice magazine, not even a bit like a lifestyle magazine than a college magazine. And so this is my answer to question number 7, the last question, is that basically in a few points I've learned how to use Adobe InDesign and Adobe Photoshop effectively. I've learned how to limit my words, as you can see from the comparison to here, limited my words, used the full face photo. I went to a modeling agency in Farringdon near King's Cross, St Pancras, to take this image in a studio. Cost me £20 to do. Took a few photos. As you can see, comparing it to the first one that I did, it wasn't really good. It didn't look professional. It just looked like someone who just took it at the back of the room. I've used a very poor background, copied, I didn't manipulate that much, used professional fonts, and then comparing it to the magazine that I've done, there was a huge difference. Used very small headlines, used one font, maintaining the professionalism and profaning the simple idea of the simple magazine. And that is my answer to question number 7.